You are watching Trenny and C for the OMC. We are the House Whiskey Reviewers for the oldmanclub.com. Thank you for coming and watching another one of our episodes.
Thank you.
We've got something fun for you today. So far we've done a Tennessee whiskey, which is essentially a bourbon.
Yep.
We have done a foreign whiskey.
A Taiwanese whiskey.
Yep. And today we are going to go to the
merry old Scotland.
The roots of whiskey.
Yeah.
Here we are. We've got the Laphroaig quarter cask. I'm going to pour it.
Sure.
You tell us about it.
Laphroaig is from Islay, which is the west kind of coast island off of Scotland, and it's renowned for the most heavily peated Scotch whiskies on the planet.
Here's your passport.
Look at that. It comes with a passport. You can buy your own square foot of land in Islay.
You buy it?
You buy it. You buy it.
Okay. How much is it?
I'm not sure, but you register for it online, and who knows? Could be worth millions one day.
Can I get a whole bunch of them like plotted together and be buried there or something?
Yeah, maybe.
All right, cool.
It's from Islay. Islay's really renowned for having really heavily peated scotches. This is no exception to the rule. It is very heavily peated. In my mind, it is one of the most. So this is the quarter cask version of Laphroaig. Quarter casks, what they are, is they're these tiny little barrels that are quite a bit smaller than the regular like hogshead or any of the other sizes. And what they used to do is they used to pack them on their pack horses on the side of them and travel through the countryside that way, either when they had to move or they would sell it to the locals straight from the cask. So quarter casks, the idea behind them is it should age the liquid inside quite a bit faster because the surface area is about 30% more. It makes 30% more contact with the liquid. So it ages the alcohol quite a bit quicker. So this one does not have an age statement on it. However, because it's been in a quarter cask, it should act as about a 7-year-old whiskey, even if it's only been aged for a little while. Rumor has it that this one has been actually aged in an ex-bourbon barrel for approximately 5 years. And then put in a quarter cask for 7 or 8 months. Excellent product from Laphroaig, 48% alcohol, relatively well priced. So stick around and find out what we think about this delicious whiskey.
Trenny and C, drinking whiskey, describing all the flavors for you and me. Irish, Scotch, bourbon, and rye. If they like a bottle, they'll tell you why.
We're back.
Here we are.
You're still here.
Yay.
It's a miracle. All right, we've got the Laphroaig quarter cask. We told you a little bit about it, a little bit about the history.
Hold on.
Oh,
Did
you're
you
not done.
spill all the way down the label?
That's why we needed to invent. We were going to invent this like whiskey collar.
Yeah, right.
And it
So
catches.
you pour it and it catches
And
it.
then it like you drink it out of the little trough or something.
Patent pending.
Yeah, you can't steal that. Okay, so the Laphroaig quarter cask. Trenny and C here, we always cover color, nose, taste, finish, and viscosity. Those are our 5 scoring categories. We each score those 5 categories separately.
Yep.
Then we plug them into our fancy system and get all of our scores compiled. Throw it together. We've got one full-blown score out of a maximum of 33.33. So
That's right.
anyway.
So should we start right away?
Let's get into color. So
Color. Go ahead.
dark, toasted straw.
Yeah, I like that. And you know what? It's funny because with these green bottles, a lot of the time they put these lighter looking spirits into green bottles to kind of cover up that...
to make it look, or not look like
you
anything.
don't know what's going to be in the bottle. But this one's actually a little darker than I was expecting.
This is a pretty dark.
Because things like
liquid.
Ardbeg and other versions of Laphroaig are quite a bit lighter in color. So this one's got some substance to it.
And I had to pour a big tall glass to actually get a look at it because of this green bottle. And when I did, I was like, oh dang, that's actually pretty dark.
Yeah. So, however, there is nothing on the label saying that there's no color added. So we can only really assume that there is. But it is non-chill filtered. It's presented in a pretty craft way. 40% alcohol is usually a pretty good indication that there hasn't been too much fiddling around with the actual product.
They claim it's like the throwback style. They've thrown it back to the era of the quarter cask when it was carried on the horse. They filtered it that way. Blah blah blah. Anyway, it's really good.
So it's probably just whatever.
All right.
Okay.
So that's color.
That's color.
We decided it's toasted straw. It's dark toasted straw.
There we go.
Okay.
You know when you toast straw. We've all done that.
I'm always toasting straw.
Okay.
Nose.
Woo! This one is a big peat blast to the face.
So, as far as single malt scotches are concerned, you're not going to get anything. You're not going to get too many that have this same kind of a bam.
Yeah, there's a lot of the peaty whiskeys. Yes, the Ardbegs and the Lagavulins and stuff like that. They're heavily peated, but for some reason, this one just kind of like explodes out of the glass. It's got that big peat, the old fireplace, like the next morning kind of fireplace ash and soot.
I got burning. I got a bit of a hay and a wet grass in there too.
Yeah. My dad has these old wine leather skins that you used to put your wine into, and they're leather, and they got a little top on them, and you carry them around your back or whatever. He bought them in Spain, and
Sounds Euro.
Yeah, so I just remember, smelling them as a kid and as I got older, and this kind of has that kind of musty leather smell to it.
Yeah, it's also got that charred firewood, like the next day, where it's sitting there in the pit, and then you go to make a new fire,
like old
with that old campfire wood, and it's kind of got that flavor to it.
I don't know if this makes any sense, but it also has a sweetness to it, but the musty sweetness, and I kind of described it as like a sweet smelling museum.
Okay.
Whatever. Hey, this one is a throwback to the senses. It's very nostalgic, and it brings up a lot of
sweet museum. Let's see how many of you got that tasting note.
Okay, let's move on to flavor here.
Yeah, taste it.
Why not?
Instantly, to me, I get this barbecue, carcinogens, and burnt flesh.
Wow. You've been smelling a lot of burnt flesh.
Animal flesh. Yeah,
like sausage,
some burnt chicken.
Like
Yeah,
right. Yeah. It's definitely a big potent flavor, but there is this sweetness. There's an underlying sweetness to it. It's got that kind of barley sugar taste. It's got a little bit of the brown sugar, things like that. It does carry the smoke quite well.
I gotta say, I got a weird tasting note out of it.
Mm-hmm.
I got a weird tasting note, and I'm kind of taking taste into the finish realm here a bit, but it kind of started to become this sweet Bazooka Joe bubblegum thing.
Okay.
Yeah. I taste it.
Yeah, okay.
Just think, Bazooka Joe, you're reading the comic, right? It's a really terrible, stupid comic.
You're right. Right at the end, at the back of the palate, it's got that, it's almost like a sweet spearmint.
It's a bit minty. Yeah. It's a
very
bit
much
minty.
so, for sure.
Anyway.
So, on taste and going into finish, as we were kind of talking about, this is one of those ones, and I said nostalgic earlier, but I think one of the reasons I say that is because this Laphroaig Quarter Cask is the first heavily peated whiskey I ever tried. So it always reminds me of that, and it totally changed my perspective on what a whiskey can taste like.
And I imagine at that time it knocked your face off.
Oh yeah. It was one of those ones actually that you should add a little bit of water to because it brings out the flavor quite well. It doesn't drown it. 48%. It doesn't hurt to add a little bit of water.
Can I say on the finish is where I start getting the medicinal qualities that Laphroaig sometimes carries with it.
Yeah,
Or
so
typically carries with it.
yeah, so it does have that kind of medicine cabinet, sweet Band-Aid glue kind of flavor to it. But it's one of those ones that you better be brushing your teeth in the morning the next day before you go to work because it sticks. The finish, and this actually goes with viscosity. The viscosity is very huge mouthfeel, and it just coats inside of your mouth for hours. You could taste this 3 hours later.
If you had a cigar with this, like the next day, you'd just be...
Speaking of carcinogenic.
Yeah, you'd be stuck in the moment. You wouldn't be able to let that one go.
Yeah, actually, this takes water quite well.
I also got a bit of a wet wood kind of thing on the finish, end of the fire, a bit of wet wood, just kind of... I mean, it's just the whole smoky, burnty thing is... You know, you could go on about it for hours, and it's just like... Whatever that last beach experience was that you had is pretty much what you're going to get out of it.
Exactly. So I think that for a lot of people, if you've never tried a peated whiskey, some people are kind of intimidated by it, and fair enough, because it's a whole other ball game when it comes to Scotch. But there are some really, really good quality peated whiskeys. This is one of them. Peat can actually kind of be one of those masks for bad quality. And they're just like, oh, well, it's not a great whiskey. Let's just make sure it's really
Smoke
heavily peated. But this one is if this was unpeated, it would be just as good.
But you're also what I also gleaned from what you said there was that this is not your beginner's peated whiskey.
No, it's not your beginners. However, if you're gonna dive headfirst into it, you might as well. I mean, you may not want to buy a bottle.
Don't dip your toe in. Just
dive straight in.
The 10-meter diving board.
You might want to go to a pub or whatever and order a dram before you invest in the bottle. Because some people, I know they've bought this and it's been in their cupboard for 7 years. 7, 8 years. Anyway,
and if it's in yours, just send it to us.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll look after it for you.
We'll take care of it. Let's give it a score out of 33.33. You gave it a 26.58.
Respectable.
Which is pretty good.
For the price.
I gave it a 29.8. I'm loving this.
You gave this a higher score than Cavalan.
Mm-hmm.
I did. This man is crazy.
I think
it's good.
I think it's really, really, really good. It's not one that you want to drink all day, every day. It's like one glass, and then you're good.
So if you were gonna,
it's like a treat.
If you were gonna score the second glass, it'd be like 25.
Yeah,
whatever.
Okay, so all in all, it came to a 27.83 out of 33.33. So
let's fumble around with our chart and see if we can do. Last time, like the score was dangling, and there was glasses breaking on the ground, and.
Okay. Oh, look at these. They're just the pen's right under it.
Yeah, whatever.
Okay.
Okay.
So we're gonna get this moved down there.
Move it right down. Pull it off.
This might be terrible. Okay.
Okay.
Right in the center.
This one's moving into second place. Boom.
Excellent. This one will go right here.
Smooth.
Smooth ride.
So right now, 3 weeks in, we've got Cavalan X Bourbon Oak at 28.62. Laphroaig Quarter Cask pulls into second place. It's got an overall score of 27.83. And Jack Daniel's 150th is at the 25.25 mark. Still not a bad score, but...
liable to move way down here.
Yeah, to push down, but hey. Hey, anyway, we're 3 weeks into this thing. You've stuck around. We've stuck around. Just keep going to theoldmanclub.com. Subscribe to Trenny and see... There are worse things you could do with your time. Probably not too many worse, but...
So, whiskey researchers, drink with us and leave comments and maybe suggest something you might want to see later on in the next couple of weeks.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Trenny and C.